Come on, get these triggers. Let it go through. Oh my god, it hits. We have the triggers. Oh, things are gonna get wild. Today on Commander Replay, we check out this Orcus combat reanimator and find out how wild having a modal commander is. Next on Commander Replay. Help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipaTX.com. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Orcus, Prince of Undeath today. Let's take a look at this opener. 3 lands, a Soul Ring, more ramp. Yeah, I like this hand. Let's go ahead and keep. So today's deck list was built for Patreon supporter Epsilon Forte, who shows up in games with us periodically. They asked me to build an Orcus deck, and Orcus is pretty interesting. There aren't a ton of commanders that have modes in the way that Orcus does, so you get to make some interesting choices about what you want to do. I asked them if they wanted me to go more aristocrats or more combat focused. A lot of people seem to be doing the aristocrats thing with Orcus because of the reanimation. He wanted me to go more in the combat direction, so that's what we're doing today. We'll see how this thing goes, but I'm pretty excited about it. Shadow Spear for opponent, coming in on turn 1. And that brings it to our turn 1. Oh my god, this hand just got ridiculous. Yeah, let's play a Swamp, play a Soul Ring. Want the Tome of Legends or the Dowsing Dagger first? I think I'm going to go Tome of Legends first. That is a pretty good turn 1, if I do have to say so myself. Pass like that. Plague Mirror for opponent. Infect and can get them a little bit of ramp is kind of spicy. There's a Black Market. Also a really good card. We didn't catch the basic that I was hoping on. So what I think I'm going to do right here, we'll draw with the Tome of Legends, see if we can catch the basic. We do not. It's a Meat Hook Massacre, though. Play the Smoldering Marsh, since I think we want the colored mana. Play the Dowsing Dagger. Let's take a look at who we're facing here. Xyris, Kaalia, and Skithiryx. Ooh, yeah, those are interesting. Those are some spicy decks. Kaalia will probably be the easiest to attack with this Treasure Nabber to flip over the Dowsing Dagger. Is what I'm thinking about right now. So we'll give these over to the Xyris player. So they'll get 2 plant tokens and we'll pass like that. There's a Signet. Excellent. That'll be helpful for our Treasure Nabber. Scry Temple for opponent. So we're playing Orcus, Prince of Undeath. It's 2 red-black X for a 5/3 with flying and trample. When it enters the battlefield, choose one. Each other creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. You lose X life. Or return up to X target creature cards with total mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. They gain haste until end of turn. Pretty sweet. Yeah, there's some things you can do with this. You can play it as a control deck if you want to and just use it as a repeatable board wipe from the command zone, which is pretty cool. A lot of people have done the aristocrats thing with it. I've been seeing a lot of that with the reanimation. It does make a lot of sense. So that's certainly a thing you can do as well. But we've chosen to go with more of a combat focus today because it is a 5/3 with flying and trample. So that gives it some pretty good punch in combat. Ooh. Opponent's sending that Plague Mirror over our way. Gonna hit us for 2 poison. And lifelink a little bit. We'll want to watch out for that. It's a Tectonic Giant. Also a really good card. Don't have a second red mana yet, though. So I think it's going to be Full Wrath Stronghold, Treasure Nabber, equip the Dowsing Dagger, and pass like that. As long as this holds up and we can flip over that Dowsing Dagger, we'll have a lot of different things to choose from next turn. Tribelder for opponent. Avoids using the Signet. Pretty annoying. Take a quick peek at our deck list. Overall, I would rate this deck as pretty nasty. There's some really powerful stuff in here. We've got Feast and Famine, Aggravated Assault, Neheb combo. We've got some extra combats. We've got just stuff like Massacre Worm. Got a Grey Merchant in here. Revel in Riches. Some decent creatures to reanimate. Trying out this Ketis. It's been out for a little while, but I really haven't tried it very much. It's kind of a weird card to use just because it's very small on its own, so you use it more for the static effect rather than its capabilities as a creature, but kind of interested to try that one out. We've got Vorpal Sword, one that I haven't used yet, as well as Mask of Grizzlebrand, in addition to a bunch of swords that can all do some wild stuff. So yeah, we got a cool smattering of cards in this deck. Up here at the top end, we've got an Insurrection, we've got a Meat Hook Massacre. I cut Torment of Hellfire from the deck just because I'm like, the deck's already doing a bunch of crazy things. So, you know, if you want to power it up even more, add that back in. I've also cut a lot of the tutors just to make room for more interesting cards because, in black, it's so easy to run a million tutors and then tutor for the same 4 cards every time. So trying to make it a little more interesting than that. But, you know, if you're going full power, then obviously bring the tutors back in. Assuming we had the mana, it would take 6 mana. We could go X2 on Orcus and kill all of these creatures, which would be very interesting. We would need to catch a land off the top to do it. Or we catch a Feast and Famine off the top. That is also a magic card. Do we think that this Treasure Nabber will get through? Oh, you know what? These are all green. I think it will get through. Yeah, let's... a little nervous about Sean's 4 open mana over there, because normally they'd cast a Kaalia with 4 open mana. I'm a little worried this may not go how we want it to. It equips. Swords and Path are still a problem for us, though. Send this over to Dragonslayer. Come on, get these triggers. Let it go through. Oh my god, it hits. We have the triggers. Oh, things are going to get wild. If we do this the right way, I don't think it'll actually do that much, but if we put the Feast and Famine on the bottom, Dazzling Dagger will flip over. We can float a bunch of mana, but then we don't have anything to do with it. So yeah, we could float mana right here, but it would just go away, so no big deal. I think we cast our commander. Do that X2 thing we talked about, because that also puts a counter on Tome of Legends, which I also like, so yeah, seems good. Tome of Legends counter, and we get to choose our Orcus trigger. We'll go for the -X. Opponent's going to sack their Tri-Belder in response, of course. Oh, maybe we should have waited to get the Kaalia. Oh well, there's so much value here. We're just off to the races right now. Opponent activates this thing for mana, but we're not going to get to keep it because it will get blown up. Opponent floats 5 mana. Not sure if that's just them tapping out or if they have a plan there. As I'm thinking about it right now, Orcus seems like a pretty good matchup for Xyris because it's pretty easy to annihilate all of their 1/1s, and that's definitely a thing. So Xyris can be a really nasty deck. Being piloted today by Dragonslayer93. I don't know how crazy they've chosen to go with it. But luckily, it's turn 4. They still don't have their commander in yet. So big thing with that deck is just keeping the commander out of play. It tends to be a very commander-centric type of deck, and it just does way too much when it's in play. So keeping it out of play, a really good idea. In the middle, we've got Sean piloting Kaalia of the Vast, a deck that we've seen on the channel many times. Yeah, it does Kaalia things. It'll drop some really big stuff into play pretty quickly. I'm very curious to see what he's got going with this 4 mana and why he didn't cast his commander. Maybe he's just playing around Orcus. I don't know. But the Xyris does come into play right there, so yeah, watch out for that. Things can get crazy with that. Black Market is also a pretty good counter to Xyris. Opponent avoiding their Signet once again. Sean didn't do anything with that 4 mana that's interesting. Yeah, maybe they're just playing around the Orcus. He cracks a land, draws a card, and that does give Xyris a snake. Phyrexian Arena, okay. Looks like he's going on the slow plan here. Argul's Bloodfast for opponent, yep. They're gonna pay some life, draw a card that also triggers the Xyris. How's this worded again? Except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps. Okay, so I was wondering if we could time this in the draw step, but it won't really matter. There's a Temple of Malice. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Let's get that into play. We'll scry one, see what's on top. A swamp, you say? I do like making my land drops, but we have so much mana already. I think I'm going to put that to the bottom, which is really atypical, because usually I like lining up my land drops, but yeah, just feel like we're already so far ahead on mana. God, we still have a Feast and Famine. Our opponents are tapped out. Wow, we're going to get through with a Feast and Famine again. This is going to be crazy. Man, what do we even... How much mana do we have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, one short of Tectonic Giant and Urabrask. All in the same turn. Frustrating. So let's get Urabrask. Actually, I suppose we could have drawn the card first. Draw the card. We'll just use the land to do it. It's a Ravenous Chupacabra. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. We just have everything. Send this back to the Xyris. Send this one to Sean and this one to Jeff. Actually, let's do that the opposite way. This one to Sean, this one to Jeff. Tome of Legends trigger. I unfortunately cut Manifold Key. Hits with the Feast and Famine. Untaps the lands. What'd they discard? Molten Psyche. Fantastic. Do we have enough for this Black Market and this Chupacabra? Oh, we might now. I think we... Yeah. We played an untapped land. I think we do. It's 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. Yep. Yep, that's the plan. That is the plan. Black Market. Ravenous Chupacabra. Shoot the Xyris. Get a counter on Black Market. And we'll pass like that. Heartwood Storyteller comes in tap for opponent because of the Urabrask. Phyrexian Arena trigger for opponent, they draw. There's a Toxic Deluge X4, that's exactly what they need to do. Still not the end of the world for us, because now there's going to be a lot of counters on this black market, and we can just recast our commander and get a bunch of stuff back. Yeah, sure, we'll use the Heartwood Storyteller ability. Oh my god, it's a Sinew Steel. Wow. God. So the next thing they need to do is get rid of this black market. Fortunately, there aren't a lot of ways to do it in mono black. Put a bunch of counters on the black market. What a ridiculous Magic card. 9 counters, oh my god. Ooh, opponent's gonna animate dead on our Urabrask. That's a nice play, because I was gonna reanimate that Urabrask and continue our absolute domination of our opponents. I would, if we have the mana, I would actually think about the Meat Hook Massacre just to kill it and get it back. That seems like a lot of mana, though. It'll be 6 to do that. Oh yeah, it'll be a ton to get that Urabrask back. It's probably a 2-turn play if we go about it that way. How about that random homeward path off the top? Don't know if it's in here or not, but that'd be funny. Unstable Obelisk for opponent. A card that's like helpful to have around, but overall I don't love it, because a lot of times you need to blow something up early in the game. Like, they really need to shoot this black market right now, and it's just so expensive. It doesn't become a piece of removal until much later, and just a lot of things can go terribly wrong early in a game now, like we're seeing right here. So, but again, it's not awful. It does give you a nice bit of utility to have ramp and then eventually have some removal, and especially in mono black where it's just, oh god, that's a Flame Tongue Kavu. Where it's just hard to get rid of enchantments and stuff like that. Brings it back to our turn. Black market trigger. Oh my god. Just, what, our deck. Our deck is ridiculous. Cast a Flame Tongue Kavu. Comes in tap. Shoot the Urabrask. I don't know if we'll have enough. We'll see. Black market trigger. Animate dead dies. Cast Orcus. And see if we can get enough mana in there to get the Urabrask back and equip a sword. Yes. Exactly enough. Oh my god. X is 6. Wait, X doesn't need to be 6. X only needs to be 5. Double check this. With total mana X value X or less. Yeah. X only needs to be 5. Orcus, back to play. Reanimate. Urabrask. Toma Legends, get a counter. Our stuff has haste. Draw with the Toma Legends. Play the Myriad Landscape. Equip the Feast and Famine. Send this one back over to Jeff since we're working on him with commander damage, and we'll send that one into Sean. We hit Feast and Famine trigger. Crack this landscape. We'll get 2 mountains right here, just in case like insurrection and stuff like that. Although I guess Cabal Coffers in there, maybe it made sense to go for swamps there. I think I'm gonna hold everything back. We're so far ahead that like we are clearly the arch enemy, and if opponents have removal, they're gonna fire it at us. So I think I'm just gonna hold all this stuff back. Next turn, I might go for the Tectonic Giant where we can get the attack and then get the exile mode to keep the value train rolling. But for now, I think we'd just be exposing it, and at the moment, we're making so much mana that waiting isn't a big deal for us. Windfall! Most cards is 6. Well, guess we're going to lose those things. Guess that didn't pan out. Although we can full rest Stronghold the Tectonic Giant back to the top, which, based on this hand, I might do. Also, oh my god, there's a Tybalt's Trickery, so if any opponent tries to wipe, we can just Tybalt's Trickery. God, I feel bad. I told opponents it was going to be pretty nasty, but I wasn't expecting this. And I get it, we had a Soul Ring start, which definitely sped us up a bit, but our start was still looking pretty good even beyond that. I mean, we're still definitely like a turn or 2 ahead of where we should be. We're probably more than 2 turns ahead at this point. That's interesting. Opponent not playing anything with 5 mana. Ooh, opponent had Savage Beating, Teferi's Protection, Dracuseth in hand. Boros Charm, yeah, those are cards. Esper Sentinel, they'll get to scry. Smothering Tithe, that's a card. Particularly bad one with Xyris, because in the situation they're in, they'd probably both make each other draw a bunch and then feed Sean a bunch of mana, just to be able to deal with us. You know, that's potentially worth a Tybalt's Trickery, but at this point, we kind of just need to protect our board state. Current state, I'd say opponents have about 2 turns to live. If we really focused one player, we might be able to kill one next turn, but... Uh-oh. Yep, there's Feed the Swarm. Opponent said they had the enchantment removal in hand now. So there's that. That will slow us down. That was a big part of what we're doing. We still have a lot of other really good things happening, but that's 10 extra mana that we're not getting right here, because with that 10 mana, we could cast, like, everything in our hand. if we needed to. So, yeah. I'm really worried about like an Ether Spouts or something over here. That would be terrible. Liliana of the Dark Realms is a card. I guess we can Debolt's Trickery, the bounce spell or whatever nastiness we're expecting. Gonna minus the Urabrask. That's actually, yeah. It's unfortunate. Was planning to get this Florian into play and, you know, get a bunch of extra damage. Also the Tectonic Giant. All right, opponent's starting to dismantle us a little bit. Oh god, we can just put Urabrask back on top. We can, can't we? We can put Urabrask on top now and then do it again in our upkeep and get back to Tectonic Giant. Jesus. Oh my god. Go to the end step. Make a bunch of red mana with this thing. Volrath Stronghold, Urabrask to the top. Leave 2 red floating in case we need to bolt Trickery at the end step here. Doesn't appear that we do. Oh god. I didn't set a stop. Oh, that sucks. That's okay. We can still go like a Urabrask Florian. That'll get the same job done. Smothering Tithe. We should probably pay for that, but we're not gonna. Play a Swamp. Let's cast Revel in Riches. Tell opponents I brought a spare. Not pay for the Esper Sentinel. Cast Urabrask. Do we have enough for Urabrask and Florian? I hope we do. 4, 5. No, we're 1 short. Crap. Well, I guess we'll just go for Florian then. Get that card advantage going. Okay. I got nervous that I didn't leave up to Bolt's Trickery mana, but we're good. We're good. Go to combat. Keep working on Jeff with the commander damage. We'll go Xyris with the Flame Tongue. Tome of Legends trigger. Call to heal. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Its controller draws a card. I'm thinking not. Debolt's Trickery. Go red and that. I've had this card backfire more times than I really care for. One time, someone got their way into an Ugin. What'd they get? Dictate of Krufix. Good card. Oh god, with that thing? Yeah, that's kind of nasty, but hey, our stuff's gonna survive. Esper Sentinel continuing to trigger. Everyone feeding Sean resources, so I mean, he might be able to find some removal. Doesn't make me really want to cast Urabrask here in our second main if we don't have to. We hit Feast and Famine. We go to our second main, we get the Florian trigger, so we'll get to look at the top 11 cards of our library. Put one in our hand, or exile it rather, and cast it. Insurrection is a pretty crazy card. Neheb is a very cool card. Rage Reflection, Kedis, Insurrection. Oh man, these are all very exciting cards. Do we really need more mana with the Neheb? That's, I guess, the question. Kedis lets us kill things faster. Insurrection and Rage Reflection let us kill things faster. Oh, right, it has to be cast this turn. Okay. Yep, that's the thing to keep in mind. I think someone said they have a board wipe. I'm going to go for the Rage Reflection. So that goes into exile. We will cast the Rage Reflection. We will draw with the Tome of Legends. It's a Grave Titan. Grave Titan's pretty good. Opponent will get a counter. Yep. Not paying. And pass like that. Because of the Volrath Stronghold, if our commander died, I might send it to the graveyard just so we can skip the commander tax, which is going to be a little bit up there. Dictate and Smothering Tithe. Yep. Oh, that's not good. That is not good. Opponent's conspiring against us. Genesis Ultimatum. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put any number of permanent cards from them onto the battlefield. Rest into your hand. Exile Genesis Ultimatum. See the opponent hits. It's a Growing Rites of Itlamok. Skullclamp Perforos. Oh god. Yeah, those are nasty. Phyrexian Arena. Dictate of Krufix. Opponent's got 12 cards and a lot of mana. If they have removal, they will use it. They also have to be worried about, like, if they find a big play with haste. That would also be not great. Mana Geyser. That's how your big turns start. 17 red mana. Oh dear god. Hellkite Courser. So they can put Kaalia directly into play with haste. And then they'll get a Kaalia trigger. Yeah, some things are going to happen right here. There's Kaalia. Righteous Valkyrie. A good card, but not as scary as some things that could be in that deck. Luckily their life total is low, so it'll take them a while to get back to the +2/+2 range. Man, I gotta buy one of these things before GP Vegas. Grave Shifter. Oh god, what are we getting back? Dracuseth? Dracuseth is a magic card. Grave Shifter triggers the Righteous Valkyrie. Yep. Getting back to Dracuseth. Dracuseth won't get the trigger if they use Kaalia to bring it in, but they also don't have haste for it, so I think we have a turn on the Dracuseth. I mean, it can hit us and just hurt really bad, but it'll be a turn before they get a trigger, I think. There's a Dracuseth. Hopefully they don't have boots or something like that. Man, I feel a lot better if that Urabrask was in play. All this stuff would be tapped. Oh, dear God. Yeah, we're going to die. We are going to die. Actually, no, they don't all have haste. We might survive this. It's going to hurt really bad. Yeah, that's not a lot. That's not a ton of damage coming at us. Dracuseth's in play. Lord of the Void is a card. Pretty good one. Can't block. Lord of the Void trigger. We go down to 25. I do think we're going to need another board wipe, or at least get Orcus out of play and able to be used as a board wipe. The other thing, too, is we have the Revel in Riches, so just casting a board wipe gives us a lot of treasures. We could think about picking up a win that way. Dictate, Smothering Tithe. Getting through Sean's board is actually going to be kind of difficult. Oh god, he's a Morog? Jesus. Yeah, next turn, things are going to be a problem. Would I sacrifice Orcus to our own Fleshbag Marauder? Might have to. We have a Ravenous Chupacabra in the graveyard, which, you know, that does something. Oh, I forgot, we have Double Strike. Double Strike is helpful for speeding up the clock. How many flying blockers are over here? 1, 2, 3, 3. A board wipe would actually be fine with... Oh no, they're going to destroy the Feast and Famine. No, not the Feast and Famine. Rude. Not the Feast and Famine. All right. I was thinking about, like, what things were we going to do in our first main, and then what things are we going to do in our second main, and now we just kind of all do them whenever they make sense, so... does remove some of the decision tree for next turn, which is helpful, because I think it was actually going to be kind of complicated, making sure we get full value from everything. The question is, do we have enough mana to do all the things I want to do? I'm not sure if we do. Make sure we set a stop on our upkeep. Set stop. I have a feeling we're going to be needing this Ravenous Chupacabra, so put that back on top. We'll draw naturally. Oh, we get a Dictate trigger. Very cool. Smothering Tithe. Not paying. We are going to need that mana. We draw a Command Beacon. Not awful. Do need to make a land drop. I guess we had a mountain. Whoops. Let's just go to combat first and see if anything happens. Orcus into Jeff. These two over to Xyris. Tome of Legends trigger. I think we need to pick something up with Florian. The mana to do the Fleshbag, Orcus, Volrath Stronghold thing is going to be pretty intense. And I don't think we have enough to get rid of the things we really need to. Because it'd be, what, 10 mana to get Morog, 11 to get that thing? Yeah. Jeff goes down to a lot of commander damage. Dragon Slayer goes to 10. There's the Florian trigger. Would like to find a board wipe in here. Black Later Forge, Feed the Swarm, Shieldred, Toxic Deluge. That's the one we want. Grab the Toxic Deluge. That will make things pretty good for us. X7 is the biggest one. Teferi's Protection's already in his graveyard, I think. Yeah, pretty good chance this is going to do exactly what we need it to. I'm going to go X8 just in case. You never know when a random +1/+1 shows up. Esper Sentinel. Yeah, they can have it. Opponent's doing the math on treasures right here. Hey, everything getting blown up. We're going to leave our commander in the graveyard. We get 7 Revel in Riches triggers. It only counts opponent's creatures. The question's going to be, how many of those treasures do we spend? Well, let's put our commander back on top. And then I think, play this mountain, drop in this Grave Titan, make some zombies. Draw with the Tome of Legends. It'll be our commander. Wait. We just drew a Badlands. Where did our commander go? Oh, it ended up in the command zone somehow. Whoops. Well, that didn't pan out. No. I don't know what happened there. I must have misclicked when I sent it to the library. Yeah, pass like that. Still in a very good spot. Sean's probably going to get another whack at it, though. He's still got 6 cards left and a bunch of extra mana, so he can continue to make big plays. Xyris the Virus is overdue. Nice. I think you mean Cyrus the Virus. Put the money back in the box. Xyris coming in. Perforos trigger. Yeah, gotta be careful of those. They're down to 3 mana. Hopefully... Wheel could get us. Wheel could get us. Gruul Turf. Picks up a land. Xyris trigger. Off of the Dictate. Perforos. Not ideal. By the way, after playing 2 games with Florian as a commander, I decided that, I don't think the control build of that was necessarily the best. I think you really do want to go, aggro in combats, kind of similar to what we're doing, because it just seems a lot easier to get, look at the top 10 cards of your library or something like that, and then just grab the one you need. So if I were going to redo that one, I'd probably build it as an aggro deck. Sean's got a lot of mana and a lot of cards. Let's see what he's got. An issue we have now is they have a Skull Clamp also, so, they need to die. There's just no world in which they can untap and have that be okay for us. Burning Rune Demon is interesting. Enters the battlefield, search your library for 2 cards not named that, and reveal them. Opponent chooses one, put it into the hand. We have a Morog in our graveyard. That's something to think about. Perhaps something like Commander, get back Morog, Urabrask, play a land? I feel like that's got to do something good. Dockside Extortionist is how problems start. We could sack our treasures, but I'm not going to. We kind of need them. How bad's it gonna be? 20 treasures. That's a lot. Probably cast most of the cards in their hand. Although maybe not. Things tend to be very expensive in Kaalia, so still 2 or 3 really good ones could be an issue. Vandal Blast is not ideal. That's gonna hurt. We don't have anything to do with the mana, so I'm not gonna bother sacking it. A Skull Clamp goes down, but we did need those treasures. This might be the Command Beacon turn. Crap. I don't know if we can get all the things we need to get now. Sean trying to figure it out. He's asking, does Comeuppance work on Perforos triggers? Yes, it does. If a damage from a... Oh, wait. As long as it's not a creature. Well, he said hilarity ensues right here. All right, let's see what happens. Wheel, then Comeuppance, probably. And then we die. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. There's the Comeuppance. Oh, opponent's got a Dream Fracture. They say no. So whatever Sean was about to follow it up with probably isn't going to happen. It'd be hilarious if he whips out a red Elemental Blast right here. That would be awesome. Soul Shatter. I don't even know what that does. What does that do? Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the highest mana value. Grave Titan down. Xyris down. That was a big part of our damage. We get a treasure. Treasures are good. We need to get some mana back. Smothering Tithe. Would have probably preferred the Grave Titan in play, though. Although, we don't really have a way to get the Grave Titan through. Just a lot of blockers running around, so... It's not the end of the world. Angelic Arbiter is a card. So anything we do probably needs to involve shooting that Angelic Arbiter. Well, now we're not in the spot that I kind of hoped we would be in. Things have fallen apart on us over the last few turns. Let's just go to our draw step. Chaos Warp is a card. Chaos Warp gives us game against Perforos, which we badly need in this moment. Smothering Tithe. Land. Meh. Oh, this turn. Opponents will have 5 creatures die, which gives us 5 mana back. Ooh, yeah. So if we get 5 mana back, then that means we can cast the Urabrask. So, yeah, I think that's what we're doing here. Hopefully Sean doesn't have protection. Play the Command Beacon. Crack the Command Beacon. Cast our Commander. That is X6. Each other creature gets -X. Oh, God, we're going to lose a bunch of life. I forgot it does that. We need more life gain in this deck. Way more life gain. Get a bunch of treasures back. Drop in this Urabrask. Wish we had one more treasure to leave up the Chaos Warp, but alas we do not. Go to combat. Urabrask does protect us from some big play with haste. Commander into Dragon Slayer, Urabrask into Sean. The Dream Fracture on the Comeuppance. That was a play. Opponent goes to 0. They're down. So just me and Sean. There's a lot of ways he could beat us. He's got a lot of mana and he's got a lot of cards. And I'd feel a lot better if we had a Chaos Warp up. I would say we could probably at least survive back to our turn. But I can't even really say that with certainty. If he goes shoot Urabrask and then something with haste, we just die. Also a burn spell. If he just has an Earthquake, we also just die. There's a Bajuka Bog. That's going to get us pretty bad. Exile our graveyard. Villas Broker of Blood is a magic card. They have 5 mana left. Does come in tapped, fortunately. But they can shoot Urabrask, and Urabrask is certainly a part of what we're doing. I'm glad I put this in. I put this in like right at the last minute. And it has just been doing awesome stuff this game. That's a Wheel of Misfortune. No mana up for the Chaos Warp. Unfortunate. Although, ooh, you know what? This goes to the graveyard. We still got our stop, right? Yeah, we still got our stop. So, oh, you know what? Our hand's not going to change because there's only 2 of us. So we're going to choose 0. And he's going to choose whatever number he chooses. He chooses 4. He then draws 4 additional cards because of the Villas. He's up to 11 cards, but down to 2 mana. But even a Swords is bad for us. Yeah, so his play was going to be to wheel after the Comeuppance with the Xyris and the Perforos, and he'd be protected from the Perforos, and all that Perforos damage would reflect back to Xyris, and it would also kill us in the process. So that was going to be a game-winning play on his part, if there was no Dream Fracture. Opponent's in a bad spot now, though, because we just have lethal on them, and they only have 2 mana up. Dragon City also had a wheel in hand, yep. That's a dam. That's a start. Opponent draws more cards. Ooh. Graveyard or command zone? I think we're staying graveyard. Return it to the command zone? No. Thing is so expensive. Yeah, all we really need to do is play the Chupacabra, shoot the thing, and attack with both with haste. Should get us there. Brings it back to our turn. Savage Beating is a card. Smothering Tithe. We should pay for this one. Play the Badlands. Play the Chupacabra. Shoot the Villas. We get a treasure. This is lethal. Send it. Down they go. Wow, I was really nervous on the last, probably 2 or 3 turns. There were definitely a lot of opportunities for opponents to sneak in there and just get us with some big alpha strike. We got really lucky on the Dream Fracture on the comeuppance because we would have just died right there. Yeah, opponent has himself in hand. Wheel, Vanquish, Doom Whisperer, Demonic Tutor. Yeah. Oh, there's the Hearth and Home. Would have been crazy if we found that one this game. But yeah, that went so much better than I thought it would. At first I was a little worried that maybe it's not like a super well supported archetype. And the one thing I did notice is that even though we were so strong through the early and mid game, that we were actually a little weak in the late game. So that's probably where I would add a Torment of Hellfire back in, something like that. Just to have some alternate win conditions and some way to really close it out quickly, because we were very far ahead and still just looking for the way to close it out. But I mean, man, this was nasty. And I get it. We had the Soul Ring start, and that definitely speeds us up. Soul Ring into Dousing Dagger is so much mana early. We also had a Treasure Nabber in there. We just did a lot, but then even the removal, even when opponents tried to get into it, we had the Ravenous Chupacabra, we had the board wipe in the command zone. Getting rid of those small things early, you don't really know how that plays out through a game. Especially if you're facing a green deck with Mana Dorks. Man, just a lot of utility there, the ability to get stuff back, so much going on. I'm a little sad we didn't get to see Mask of Grizzlebrand. That was one that I was excited about. Also, the Vorpal Sword. Probably want a Luxodon Warhammer in here. This is a black deck, so it does burn quite a bit of its own life. So, we can skip the Treasure Nabber. It's fine, but yeah, I don't know. This just went so much better than I expected it to. I know there's a lot of powerful cards in here, but we just had everything going. And maybe we got a little lucky in there too, right? We just drew everything we wanted it right when we needed it, but that does happen when you have pretty good redundancy on stuff. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have one new Patreon supporter in Kevin Hughes. Kevin, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below.